Hello, happy Thursday. Very nice to be back with you with my Earle Wellbeing Instagram Live. How are you all doing? Send me a thumbs up. Everybody good? Feeling well? Happy? Bit of a grey day here in London, a bit drizzly, but still went outside, still looked up. Get that early morning light. Very nice to see you. Let me just make sure that my volume is all turned up. So today we're going to be doing a deep dive into adaptogenic herbs. Is that a term that you're familiar with? We're going to be talking to leading nutritionist Sara Jackson, and we are going to be looking at really particularly for support of perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, anything hormonal, but just generally talking around the role of adaptogens and which are the most powerful plants that we can add into our well-being. We're going to be talking specifically about Life Armour, brilliant female-founded British brand. This is what it looks like. Many of you will know about this. We've talked about it before. We have a fantastic Liz Loves, 15% off, lifearmour.co.uk. So I am looking forward to exploring more. Tell me about your adaptogenic journeys. Have you taken anything? Have you ever tried one of the herbs ashwagandha? That's particularly what we're going to be talking about today. Absolutely fascinating. I know from my own personal experience that I feel better when I take ashwagandha. This is one of the ones that I take from Life Armour. It's called Super Me. And yeah, actually, Super Me. I do feel pretty super when I take it. It's got ashwagandha. It's also got magnesium, really important. We've talked a lot about that in the past. Alfalfa, passion flower, and rhodiola. Rhodiola, another adaptogen. So stay tuned. Right, before we get cracking with Sarah, I am going to add Lainey from my team as a moderator. So basically, if you have any questions to do with Earle Wellbeing, to do with the website, the podcast, the newsletters, the Liz Loves offers, all of that, then Lainey is your gal. So she will be here. Hi Lainey, nice to see you. So Sara Jackson, focus on Life Armour, in particular drops of slumber. This is an absolutely genius little bottle. If you could see in my bedroom, you would see this is beside my bed, and this contains passion flower, chamomile, lavender, ziziphus, interesting, valerian, Montmorency cherry, vitamin B6, full of goodness. So let us see whether we have got, where is my little contacts? Here we go. Where are you, Life Armour? Have you requested to join me? I cannot see you just yet. Hopefully you will join me. So yeah, Life Armour, that was a brand that I came across, I think, during the awfulness of lockdown, and they'd relatively newly started. And like most people, I was having trouble sleeping, anxiety obviously off the charts in the early days when we didn't know kind of what we were up against. And so Life Armour Drops of Slumber was the first thing that I used, and actually I've stayed with it all these years. So that does show you, actually, you know, it's all very well when you try something once and you think, yeah, that's okay. But actually when you stay with it, that is the key thing. And I bought it for my girls. You will always find this, Drops of Slumber. I also really like this one. This is their Drops of Balance. So this kind of just, I don't know, it puts you back in control a little bit. It makes you feel just a little bit more capable. And this has got B vitamins in it, along with ashwagandha, of course, and shatavari, which I think is another adaptogen. I'd like to get clarification on that. And then Drops of Vitality. If you're feeling if your get up and go has got up and gone, then this is a good one. This has got B6 and biotin and vitamin B12, really, really important, especially any of you that don't eat meat. Really, really important to make sure that your B12 is topped up. And we also have in here ginkgo biloba and maca. Again, super interesting plants. Right, let me see whether we have got Life Armour in the house. I cannot see you. So what you might need to do, hopefully you are watching, is you might need to log out and log back in again, because that is the key. Let me just see whether I can get you on here. Yeah, I've just sent you an invitation, so hopefully that will work. In the meantime, lots of you saying great things about UK Lash. That was my Instagram live that I did on Tuesday. So an amazing selection of lash and brow products. They are expanding And what blew me away was their number of 5-star independent testimonials. It was something like 40,000. I mean, I had to really listen hard to get that number right, because I think, as I said at the time, 45-star reviews is good. 400 is amazing. 4,000, wow, that's incredible. 40,000, oh my gosh, they must be doing something right. I think this is an amazing serum. It does make your eyelashes grow. If you have been sensitive to lash serums in the past, they've got a new one, which is the sensitive serum. Really good. You just do one line across there, and then blink, and that goes onto your lower lashes as well. Many of you said that you absolutely love it. There was one comment saying that they kept it by their bed at night, so they just do that before they go to sleep. Perfect. But what I've really been liking is the brand new brow products. This was the brow pomade. Really clever. I'm using it at the moment. I put it on my brows. One end is this little brush, little sort of chisely shaped brush. And the other end on this side is a little bit of colour. You either get it in light, medium or dark. You pick up basically a little bit of colour here, and then you draw with it. And it is really good, and it doesn't shift, okay? It's water resistant, it seems to be smudge proof. Just, you kind of can shape your brows with it. So even if you've got really sparse, fine, blondie brows, the light one is very, very good. Interesting, Zoe saying here, I love Life Armour Drops of Balance, really helps with my anxiety at work. Yeah, I mean, these herbs are powerful, powerful, powerful. And actually, I've been doing some of the clinical references for my new book, out in April, A Better Second Half, and there's quite a lot in there about adaptogenic herbs. And so I was looking up some of the clinical data so I could add references, because I always like it to be kind of very evidence-based. And honestly, if you go onto PubMed, which is the big website that publishes all the clinical studies, and you type in ashwagandha, I mean, this whole massive information comes up, including meta-analysis of all the randomized control studies, looking at it and the way it works. It's definitely potent. Very, very good. Anyway, coming back to the UK brow, just to say, we have got a 15% Liz Loves discount. It's uklash.com is the website, but that's only until the 17th of October. It was only going to run for 7 days. So if you want to try any of these brow serums to make your eyebrows grow, lash serums, they've got a lengthening mascara that I think is excellent. These brow pencils and brow pomades, really good, but don't delay, basically. Go and take a look at the website, have a look at all the new things that they're doing, uklash.com, and that's 15% off everything just until the 17th of October. So that is a short one. Right. I have invited you. What is happening? You are not there. You are not there for me. Here we go. Sara Jackson requested. No, I've been looking for Sarah. And we have a go. Oh, here we go. SJ Health. There we go. So I have invited SJ Health to join. So let us see. So SJ Health is, if you've got any questions actually following this would be a good one. So let me see, hopefully. Where are you there? No. SJ Health. Nope. I am not seeing you just yet. But hopefully you will come back and we will be able to have this conversation. In the meantime, has anybody else tried Life Armour? Please let me know if you have tried adaptogenic herbs, if you've been using ashwagandha, rhodiola, shatavari, any of these things. Do let me know, because I would love to talk about it. Because the reason they're called adaptogenic, is they adapt to what the body needs, which sounds a bit strange, because I think we're so used to kind of big pharma saying, well, you need this and it's only going to do that. Well, yeah, maybe if you take an isolated synthetic compound and that's your main thing. But actually what plants do is they adapt to their surroundings. You know, they adapt to climate, they adapt to rainfall, they adapt to soil conditions, and that's how they're designed to function, and just as we adapt to live in the situations that we're living in. So what these adaptogenic plants do is they go into the body and they identify cleverly what the body needs. So if you're feeling super stressed and strung out, they just take the edge off and they calm you down. But on the other hand, if you're feeling really flat and lacking of energy, they give you a lift and they boost you up. That's why you can take ashwagandha at night, and it will help you sleep, because that's your circadian rhythm and that's what you need and that's what the body's trying to do. But if you take it in the morning, it'll give you that lift. It'll give you that little buzz to carry you through the day. It'll give you that extra kind of boost of confidence and that lift, that energy that we need. So it's very weird, isn't it? We're not used to thinking about that. We're not used to thinking about that taking something can actually adapt to what we need. But that is the whole process of adaptogenic. Okay. Hopefully, I have explained that correctly. If not, then Sarah, I'm sure, will be able to put me right. So yes, Life Armour, for all the ones of you who are joining just now, they have given us 15% off. That's the Liz Loves, the usual code. And that is lifearmour.co.uk. And hello. Now I have no sound for you.
Don't go.
There we go. That's better. You got your sound on? Yes. How are you?
Liz, can you hear me?
I can. You broke up just fractionally. You've got earpods in, have you?
Liz, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you take your earpods out, maybe? Do you need to
take the AirPods out again?
Yeah. Can you hear me without your earpods?
Can you help me with this? I'm so sorry, Liz.
Don't worry.
I've been sitting here waiting. I can't hear you.
Hear me without your earpods?
Can I get this off?
Okay, so I've turned everything up my end. Can everybody
Can you hear me, Liz?
Yes, I can hear you. And can you hear me? No. Okay. Can anybody else hear us? Drop me a message if you can hear me. Drop me a message if you can hear Sarah. That would be good. Your internet connection may not be stable, Sarah, because you've just gone again. How's that? Can you hear me,
Liz?
I can hear you, yes. You can't hear me?
I'm so sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay, maybe log out.
I have logged out a few times and logged back in. Should we try once more?
Well, everybody can hear you, but you can't hear me, which is very strange. Okay, try it with the earphones in. Everyone's saying that they can hear us both, which is good. Can you hear me through your earphones? Can you hear me? Maybe that's... Yeah, I know. Everyone
Liz,
can
I'm
hear
so
you.
sorry. This is a nightmare. I don't know how I can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's saying you need to
log out of Instagram completely and I'll come back in.
No, I think go into your settings and remove Apple earpods. Yeah, I think. Thank you for all your techie advice. Obviously, lots of professionals here watching. So, or maybe just switch off Bluetooth. You know, if you turn off Bluetooth, that might work. Because can you come out? Yeah, come out of that so that you can just hear. Or maybe I think Life Armour may be watching. Maybe message Sarah and just say if she just switches off her Bluetooth or disconnect, then she'll be able to hear. How's that?
So sorry, Liz, I can't hear you.
Okay, well, everybody can hear you and me. So hopefully someone will send you a message to say, turn off your Bluetooth, or maybe just disconnect. Yeah, thanks for all the information. I will try and connect her. Hopefully she will get some messages into all of that. One of the other things actually I wanted to mention about stress and anxiety is another gadget that lots of you have reported very, very good feedback on, and that's the Sensate. Now, I had one of these a few years ago to trial. I liked it so much that I had bought one for several members of my family. I actually gave them as Christmas presents. So if you're thinking about really good value, long-lasting, beneficial Christmas presents, is it too early to say the C word? I don't think so. Anyway, it's good to be planning, isn't it, for the future? This little gadget is just incredible. It goes on a strap here around your neck, and you basically link it to an app, and then when it's on, you do have headphones in. So you will need either your connected headphones, which is something that I use connected to my phone, or you could use Bluetooth if you use Bluetooth. And it vibrates to connect with your vagus nerve, and it tones your vagus nerve. And this is the biggest nerve in the body. It runs from the base of the brain all the way down, right the way down through to the bottom of the gut. And it shoots off in all the directions to touch basically with all the organs of the body. So by tuning into your vagus nerve, you're actually helping to preserve and protect all those different organs and help with the gut-brain axis, and it's very calming and it reduces anxiety, and it is excellent. So if you have trouble sleeping, if you just feel that you're being overwhelmed or you've got issues with anxiety, I take mine on a plane, for example. It's really, really good. So I think I bought 3 of these now, or 3 for 3 members of my family got these for Christmas. So if you want to try Sensate or go and have a look at their website, I do recommend it. It's getsensate.com. That's the website, getsensate.com. Liz Loves gives you 10% off. Okay, so I'm just throwing that out there now. Right, okay, Sensate, Sensate, Susan, and it's getsensate.com. Go and check it out. I do rate it. Right, okay, we're going to try again. Accept. Okay, oh, interesting. Natalie, you said it's like a gong bath effect. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love a gong bath. Anybody else had a gong bath? Bit of sound.
Hello.
Hello. Can
Can
you
you
hear
hear
me?
me now?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I am so sorry.
Don't worry.
That's the worst nightmare. I was all organized. I'd requested at 12:30. My Bluetooth was on and off. Anyway, I'm here now.
You're here now. Now, you may have heard, or you may not have heard, my kind of
You were doing a
amateur
great job. A
description.
lovely
Yeah?
introduction. Yes.
So that was very much an amateur description. I'm not a professional here. You are the professional.
Yes.
Is that right about adaptogenic herbs and how they work?
Absolutely. So the clue is in the name, really. They're adaptogens. So they help our body adapt. They really help our HPA axis, exactly what you were just talking about. I saw you with your sensate and talking about the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
And the HPA axis, which is connecting that to the nervous system. So they really help to work on our cortisol levels and work on our stress levels. And they're all about bringing our bodies back into balance. And they've been studied, they've been used for thousands of years, from Ayurveda to traditional Chinese medicine to the Soviet army using it from like the 1940s, even in medicinal purposes.
Wow.
They're really, really, as you mentioned, you know, for your book, you've looked at thousands of studies because they exist on the benefits of all of these adaptogenic herbs and plants. I mean, really, they're kind of any sort of plant or herb that can be used to harness these nutritional benefits to support the body and rebalance and bring it back into sort of homeostasis.
And it seems to be the most powerful one that crops up time and time again with the studies and the scientific literature is ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha, I have to say, is my favorite. And I know that you're familiar with lots of the benefits, but really ashwagandha helps for so many reasons. It really helps support fatigue levels. It helps to support our cortisol levels and bring down cortisol. And there was a brilliant study actually that showed that taking ashwagandha for 8 weeks reduced depression and anxiety scores by 71.6%. It also reduced serum cortisol levels by 27.9%. Just from using ashwagandha, this beautiful natural herb that, you know, it's a plant that's grown in India and the Middle East, and it really has significant clinical benefits to our systems. Another thing that you may not know so much about it is that it supports estrogen levels. There was another study that showed, in September 22, there's a brilliant study, maybe you came across it for your book, by Gopal et al. And almost 91 women took ashwagandha extract during perimenopause. Their estrogen levels increased significantly. And that study really showed that it's safe and effective as an option to relieve mild to moderate perimenopause symptoms.
How very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Is it safe and effective for everybody? Have we got any contraindications for ashwagandha?
Not really. I mean, for any sort of supplement, any herbs, you should always run it by your healthcare practitioner. But that's the reason why they're classified as adaptogens, because part of the criteria is that they must do no harm to the body. So they work to balance, but not doing any harm. And they're non-specific, so they can work on so many different pathways and body systems.
That's the interesting thing, isn't it? I think that's what medics, conventional medics, find it hard to get their head around them, because they're so indoctrinated in the whole kind of pharmacological, you've got to have this to fix a symptom and that's an end to it. Whereas these work much more holistically within the body and react and respond in a way that your body needs. and obviously, they can't be patented, so big pharma's not going to make a huge amount of money out of them. So they tend to get pushed to the bottom of the pile, certainly.
But they have been approved by the FDA.
Yeah.
So the studies that have been done have, that they can't be negated or really argued with too much. I've got my lovely products here with me too.
I'm actually going to take some. How many of these can I take? I mean, that's like a drop of full.
I would take a whole pipette's worth. Which one are you using? The Vitality?
No, I have got my Balance.
Balance. So Balance is such a lovely one.
That's the one that has ashwagandha in it. And I was saying, actually, because I do actually also use the Super Me capsules.
Yeah.
I go through phases where I kind of cycle supplements, and I'll take some, and then I'll be trying others, and some will drop off. And I went through a phase of not taking my Super Me, and then just kind of thinking, I just feel a bit flat. I just think that there's something that I'm kind of not doing that I should be doing. And then I realized I wasn't having my ashwagandha. And it makes a big, big difference to me. I mean, I don't suddenly kind of feel like a different changed person, but I just feel better able to be equipped with everything. I find that I sleep better, my mood is better, I'm more joyful, I've got more energy, just on a very subtle level, but it's there, it's making a difference.
I feel the same. And I see it in clinic all the time. I know because I joined late, I didn't get a chance to introduce myself properly, but I work in private practice. I work for the Optimum Health Clinic and my own clinic, SJ Health. And I support hundreds of women with menopause and with fatigue-related conditions. And it's really, really beneficial when we're looking at fatigue and we're looking to support stamina and resilience. Yeah. Ashwagandha, it just really works. I see it in the studies. I see it in the way that, people really respond so well to it. There's one other benefit that I'm not sure whether you have seen the studies, but there was a really good study in 2015 that showed that ashwagandha extract could be used for female sexual dysfunction as well, which I know is an area that you've been sort of hot on lately, haven't you, around looking at sexual function with menopause. And ashwagandha has been shown to really help support women with sexual function as well during menopause and perimenopause.
Oh, interesting. There's a message here, McFarlane. She says, thinking my mum could maybe try this. She's had breast cancer 3 times. But could do with something to help with menopause and life in general. She's an active 70-year-old. What would you say to that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think ashwagandha can support so many people, and it's very, very good for when you're just feeling a bit run down, as you say, and you need that bit of extra boost.
Yeah. And presumably you can take alongside other medications. I always get these questions about levothyroxine. It seems that so many people take thyroxine. Maybe you should look at some bit more iodine in the diet perhaps as well.
Exactly. Iodine and selenium are 2 really, really key elements. 2 Brazil nuts a day, a bit more seaweed in your diet are brilliant to support the thyroid. Yeah. But if you're on medications, as always, the rule of thumb is you do need to check with your prescriber. So double check with your health practitioner. Yeah. But they are safe. And the way that you take them, they work quite quickly as well, because they're these drops and they get into the system quickly.
Straight away.
Tastes nice. Yeah. I know lots of people really like these drops of Vitality, especially when they're feeling a bit tired.
Can I take both together? Can I take these as well? Because I am feeling a little bit tired. So.
Yeah. So it's a good little pick-me-up to keep on your desk or in your bag. It tastes quite sweet, so if you're getting a bit of a sugar craving, it actually can sort of fight off a chocolate bar or, or a piece of cake for a bit longer.
Yeah, let's go for that one. So this has got ginkgo biloba and maca. Are they adaptogens or are they just more basic herbs?
No, they definitely have adaptogenic superpowers. Maca is a Peruvian root that has been used by Amazonian people for thousands of years. It actually traditionally was used by the army in the Amazon. So it's really about giving you like quite quick, instant energy. It's a really brilliant one to use in perimenopause and menopause because it balances the hormones as well. Maca is a brilliant superpower.
How often can you take these in a day?
3 or 4 times.
Right.
Yeah, they're really safe.
Yeah. Great. And could a very good question actually has also come up here. The Super Me, which is the ashwagandha capsules, which I do really like, with the magnesium as well. If I was taking, this is the dose, 2 of these, could I then also top up with my Balance drops?
That's what I do. I'm like you, and I really like the Super Me. I'm fine with capsules. Some people don't like taking capsules, but I really like this one. And the ingredient in the Super Me is the KSM magnesium, which is really, KSM ashwagandha, which is really good. And probably the other benefit that you find from the Super Me is from magnesium. And I know that we all know we're pretty much deficient. Pretty much everybody's deficient in magnesium. You had the lovely owner of Better You, and I love Better You's products as well.
Yeah, I did. I
But
loved
magnesium is responsible for 300 different actions in the body, from nervous system to energy to mitochondria. And of course, mitochondria is massively affected when we're looking at menopause. You know, that's actually the way that we convert food into fuel and ATP. So it's the currency of energy that our body really needs. And that's what you're getting from the Super Me. So what I actually do personally, and I recommend this to my clients too, I would take 2 Super Me in the morning, and then as needed during the day, I might take some Vitality or some drops of Balance if I'm feeling got a meeting coming up or something that you're feeling a little bit nervous about, because the drops of Balance have a few extra ingredients in there that support anxiety.
Yeah, I was noticing that. In particular, what caught my eye was lemon balm. And, you know, Melissa Aficionalis, lemon balm. And, you know, we often think of these herbs, oh, it's just a bit of herb tea, you know, maybe it just kind of, you know, I don't know, it just makes you feel a bit more relaxed or whatever. But the clinical studies on lemon balm and anxiety, again, you know, go onto PubMed. If you don't believe me, put in lemon balm anxiety or lemon balm depression. Incredible, the amount of data. This stuff is super powerful. And really, really effective and natural and safe. You know, I'm going to be drinking lemon balm tea now a lot more often. I've got lemon balm in my garden, so I'm going to go and get
it grow. I know it grows. Please, everybody, go and buy a lemon balm plant. £1.50, and we'll be in lemon balm tea forever.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, before it dies back in the winter, I'm going to just harvest it. I'm going to dry it. I'm going to just have, you know, dried lemon balm leaves ready on the go. The other thing that's in here, which I'd love you to talk a little bit about, is Schisandra berry. That's like an Asian aromatic, is it? I'm not really familiar with Schisandra.
Yeah, so that's another adaptogenic, and what it can do is it increases glutathione in your body. So glutathione, people might know, is the master antioxidant in our system. We really need glutathione for proper liver flow and bile flow. So it really helps support your antioxidant status, and it helps get the liver working, which of course is really important when we're looking at anything hormonal. We need to make sure that the liver's working really well. So it supports physical stamina as well. There's lots of studies to show that it helps with energy resilience, but I think the key function of Schisandra is really around the glutathione production.
Very fascinating. So as we think about coming into party season and the potential extra stresses, those of you doing Sober October, pretty much alongside me, I'm trying to do Sober October at the moment. So I think, you know, come November and we start hopefully getting a bit more social, then, you know, looking after our livers is something that's going to become perhaps even more important.
Absolutely. Milk thistle's lovely for that. What are you drinking if you're not drinking any alcohol? Do you like kombucha?
I love kombucha. I've got my own with Mighty Brew, so I buy that by the caseload. And you know, in the morning I'll tend to make smoothies, or I'll drink kefir-based drinks, and I have a lot of water. I mean, I have, you know, I've got water here, which is actually hydrogen water. I'm trialing hydronizing my water, and then I add electrolytes into that. So I find that if I add a little scoop of electrolytes or a little teaspoon of, you know, the BioLite electrolytes, that actually I feel more hydrated. It seems to go into my cells better than just plain water. If I've got that potassium, sodium, magnesium, tiny trace amounts in the water, I just feel that my thirst is quenched better.
Helps with energy production as well.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that you're a fan. So this is very good for all of that. And of course, you've got your B5 and your B12.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, just taking the edge, really, really important. So many of us are B12 deficient. If you've cut back on eating meat, personally, I haven't. I eat more meat now than I ever did. So, you know, my B12 is pretty good, but, you know, it's one of those key vitamins, isn't it, for energy?
Absolutely. And the other ingredient in there is shatavari, which is another Ayurvedic adaptogenic herb, and that can really help support hormone balancing, and it can help support depression as well. There's some really convincing studies to look at the mental health benefits of shatavari. That's another one that's quite good for sexual function. I do often recommend that as part of the sort of menopausal protocol, because it can help support that.
Interesting. So are these very female focused, or could we be giving them to our men folk as well?
I would say the drops of slumber is great for anybody, as is the drops of vitality. I would say the drops of balance is pretty good as well, but some of those extra benefits from the Shatavari, I think, are more female focused.
But it's not going to do them any harm.
It's not going to suddenly boost a huge amount of estrogen or anything in a male.
They're not going to
I mean, the key element about adaptogens is that they work so beautifully because they bring the body back into balance. So if the cortisol is too high, it can help reduce it. If the cortisol is too low, ashwagandha can also help bring that up into balance. So it recognizes what the body needs. I know that sounds really sort of airy-fairy, but
I know, but it's true.
It really is true, and they really do work. I mean, I know I see it day in, day out with my patients in clinic, and we can speak from experience having used these products. They really do work.
I just feel better without them. And, you know, for me, I obviously get sent, as I'm sure you do too, a huge amount of stuff to try. And, you know, a lot of people actually say, oh, can we come on and do a Liz Loves and whatever? And I say, well, you know, my team are always very good. They say, well, actually, you know, Liz has got to see it and try it. And I'm afraid if she doesn't love it, then the answer's no, because that, you know, I'm putting my reputation out there as well and saying, you know, actually, I endorse this. You know, I use it, I try it, I think it's good. You know, there are some things I love more than others, if I'm honest. And Life Armor is one of the things that when I don't have it and when I begin to see, you know, the tide go down in my bottle, I think, right, I need to get back on it and order it, because I know that I'm not going to feel as good if I don't have it. And that is absolute testament to the efficacy of the product.
Absolutely. They're really high quality ingredients, and the way that they are utilized, you know, in the drop form, it means that when you're using them, they get to work in sort of 10-15 minutes. So they're a really nice, easy formula. I have to say my drops of balance isn't in front of me because my daughter pinched it and took it to school.
I know. I mean, that is the problem. You know, I've got older kids, and, you know, when Kit left to go to uni, it's like half my supplement cupboard went with him. And, you know, he took all my creatine, he took all my protein powder, he took my lion's mane. You know, so it's like, come on, get your own.
Such healthy children, though, Liz. It's amazing. We're preaching it, and our children are sort of listening, which is really good.
I guess I should be glad. And then I come up to the studios, and, like, you know, I look at, you know, Brella's bathroom shelf, and, you know, she's got her creatine, and she's got her Bimuno, and she's got all her microbes, beautiful, you know, probiotic stuff, because she's, you know, big into gut health, and she finds that really helps actually with her anxiety, is getting on top of what's going on in her gut. And, you know, she used to avoid gluten and all of those things, but actually she found that putting the right things back into her body, she was actually able to not have to be on a restricted diet, but to eat sensibly, eat everything in moderation. And she's now doing really well. And I guess that's, you know, that's what we want, isn't it, for ourselves, but for every member of the family. But, you know, just be warned that, you know, these things do work, and if you are generous enough to share it with other family members, you may find that the little bottles develop legs.
Exactly. But it also shows that they suit everybody, you know, especially the drops of balance. I think when anyone's feeling a little bit anxious, exam time, you know, you've got a big meeting at work, something big's going on, it's a really good one to have with you, just to give you a bit of an instant top up, because it really does work within sort of 10 to 15 minutes, just to bring you down a little bit. Like you say, you notice the difference. It's not huge, but you notice the difference where things just come back into balance. You can think a bit more clearly. You know, some of the other ingredients in the Vitality, we've got the B6, we've got the B12, the ginkgo biloba, that helps quite instantly with energy and also with a bit of brain focus, which we suffer with as we move into perimenopause and menopause.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, that point about drops of balance, it's so great to have it in your bag, so that if you or a friend, somebody that you're with, is feeling a bit overwhelmed with something or has a stressful situation, it's something practical that you can offer them.
Exactly.
You know, you could pop a few drops in, a little bit of water for them, or in their coffee or whatever. I think that's very interesting. Before we go, I'd love just to touch on the ginkgo biloba, because I've been looking at very interesting brain health studies, particularly to do with cognitive decline and neurofunction, neuroplasticity, looking at onset dementia, Alzheimer's. And ginkgo biloba does seem to be one of those herbs that is being really indicated as a helpful strategy to follow, particularly in later life, for the brain.
Absolutely. Early onset dementia can be very, very useful for that. It really can help with memory. It has been indicated a lot with sort of cognitive decline, as you say, but also it's quite good for mitochondria. So as we get older, our mitochondria suffers. That's something that we look at a lot in clinic, and there are some brilliant functional tests now to look at mitochondria function.
Really?
To see how we're actually utilizing the energy, because when we're talking about energy, it's not just energy in our body, it's actually the energy that's used in our brain. A huge amount of our body's energy goes straight to the brain, so we need to fuel it obviously with the fats we know, omega-3s, lots of oily fish and nuts and seeds in our diet. But it's also about looking at the cell membrane health, and that is what helps stave off things like early onset dementia and helps successfully age when we're thinking about brain function and cognitive decline. So things like ginkgo biloba can be very, very helpful, but we need to also look at root cause factors and look at how our cell membranes are and how our mitochondria are actually functioning.
And interestingly, I'm hearing that Alzheimer's is almost being referred to as like type 3 diabetes. And it's this amyloid plaque that's building up in the brain, triggered very often by a high carb, high sugar diet. And that these insulin spikes and that the overload of sugar is causing this brain plaque, which may well be implicated in Alzheimer's.
Liz, have you watched, or your audience, have you guys watched the Blue Zone documentary on Netflix?
Not yet. No, does it cover
My
that?
goodness, you will love it, Liz. So this brilliant American ex-cyclist goes and explores all the Blue Zone areas, and he's looking at populations in Okinawa. There's quite a few in the Mediterranean,
Yeah.
and the incidence of dementia and early onset Alzheimer's is next to zero in these centenarians. So they've got these little pockets where we have these brilliantly healthy people who are living to 100 plus. They're looking at the different factors. Part of it is nutrition, part of it is social connection, part of it is having a purpose, getting up in the morning, knowing that you're up, you know, you've got something to do, having a community around you. But it's really a big factor of what you were just speaking to, and eating a clean diet, predominantly plant-based, where you are eating non-ultra processed foods. And we're really talking a lot about ultra processed foods, and it's really, you can see it in these people's health. They don't have cognitive decline. They don't have
I've been
Alzheimer's.
there. So I actually made a series for ITV when I was working with This Morning. And one of the places we went to two of the Blue Zones, one in Sardinia and one in Ikaria in the Greek island. And it was astonishing. And, you know, I would be next to centenarians who were, you know, goat herding, running up mountains, and they were drinking a glass of natural red wine at lunchtime every day. And so by natural, I mean they were picking the grapes, they were fermenting it. It was only a few months old. It was quite cloudy, and you know, still alcoholic, but of course it had all the resveratrol in it and the polyphenols.
Yeah.
And they were predominantly interesting drinking goat milk. So not many cows, particularly in Korea, but they were big on goats, goat cheese, goat milk, and lots of fish, obviously being a small island, and veggies, and that sense of community. Actually, I was talking to them about the elderly and how they looked after the elderly in their community. And I was saying, you know, how many care homes, for example, do you have in Korea? And they kind of looked at me positively and said, what do you mean by a care home? And I said, you know, somewhere where older relations, older people will go and stay and live. And they said, well, I mean, they stay here in the house. I mean, why? What do you mean? In your country, that they go and stay somewhere else? Do they not live with you? And you know, they couldn't understand that our elderly parents and grandparents were kind of shoveled off somewhere else and set apart, because they were very much about this tight-knit community. And as you say, having a sense of purpose. They were very mindful. There was quite a bit of meditation. There was quite a lot of prayer. You know, there was this real kind of sense of connecting. And, you know, I think we ignore that at our peril, to be honest, as a factor of wellness.
I absolutely agree. And on the show, it's interesting because they do a study. He takes this little pocket in America. You know, his big goal is to try to make significant changes in America, because that seems like the impossible, doesn't it, really, when we're talking about the changes that need to happen. And he's achieved incredible successes with these little areas in, you know, the middle of America. It's really quite impressive. But it's back to basics. You know, we don't need to spend a fortune on fancy things. It's back to basics, really.
Lastly, before we go, can you tell me a little bit about maca? Because maca, I keep seeing cropping up in quite a few formulations, and I have heard that it's linked to female libido. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Asking
So
for a
maca is
friend.
that maca is that beautiful Peruvian root that absolutely can be linked to. Yeah, we've got a few ingredients here that are going to help with sort of sexual function and libido.
Not
So
going to turn up
shantavali.
into a raging nymphomaniacs, though, is it?
No,
Good.
it's moderate. It's, as I say, it's adaptogenic, so everything is going to be
Adaptogenic, fair
brought into the
enough.
right balance,
Okay.
just what your body needs. It'll deliver just what you need. But maca is really quite potent and it is quite useful. A really nice way of taking it as well is by putting it in a smoothie in the morning. So you can easily just add these drops to a smoothie or even to your porridge because they taste really quite nice. I would definitely put some Vitality on some food or onto a smoothie. You can also open the Super Me capsules.
Okay.
But yes, maca is very good at hormone balancing.
Yeah, fantastic. Sarah, it's so good to chat. I'm so glad that we sorted out our sound
I'm so
issues.
sorry.
We've got so much stuff. Please, no stress. It's
It's the one thing that
been
you get nervous about. The one thing is like, oh, hope the technical difficulties don't affect me today, but I apologise for keeping you
not
waiting.
at all, not at all. It's been great to chat. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll get to talk again.
Thank you. Lovely to see you, Liz.
Have a great
Thanks for
day.
joining me,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Absolutely brilliant. So just a quick recap. If you are fascinated to learn a bit more, then please go to lifearmor.co.uk and you can use your Liz Loves code. That gives you 15% off everything. Sarah, if you want to leave, you just have to click the little white square, the little cross top right-hand corner. So 15% off, that gives you, I think it's across the entire website, which is really good. So the three things that we were talking about there, we have drops of Vitality. I've actually taken these alongside my drops of balance. Sarah says it's fine to do both, so I have taken both together. So I'm now full of ashwagandha and maca and ginkgo biloba. And what else have I got here? My B vitamins, what else? Lots, rhodiola and I can't see, shatavari, that was the one, and Shisandra berry. Anyway, watch this space. Hopefully I shall have a very successful, vitalized and energetic day. Thank you for all your comments. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Yeah, so if you have any more questions, please go to Life Armor. They are on Instagram and you can also connect with Sarah as well. Okay, so hopefully that is helpful for you. I will be back with you live on Tuesday. We're going to be having a special one. We've done a few lives before where we've had the actual guest in the studio with me. The last one was with Michael Van Clark, who gave me a blow dry, and that was really fun. And I'm going to have my makeup done by a brand new makeup artist who I'm so excited to be meeting, Annabelle, and she's got a company called Annabelle Minerals. And I've been using some of their products, mineral-based makeup. It's absolutely fascinating. So I'm going to start my live with a naked face, scary, and she's going to make me up and give me different looks. So please pop that in your diary to join me on Tuesday. Make sure you're signed up for the Earle Wellbeing newsletter. The editorial newsletter comes out at tea time tomorrow on Friday. Jam-packed with good stuff. We've got links to podcasts, special offers, editorial features, recipes for the weekend, so much stuff. So please make sure, just go to lizarwellbeing.com, click to subscribe to the newsletter. It's completely free. We don't spam you. We don't sell your data. If you don't like it, then just unsubscribe. But there's lots of good stuff in there. So I hope you enjoy it. Have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you for all your messages. Thank you for your hearts. Sending lots back. See you next time. Bye-bye.